Hello, Room of Requirement. Happy Memorial Day. It also happens to be Soul Exchange Day, which is excellent for recovering those roster spaces that we so desperately need, or getting a hero that you wanted for a long time. So I thought I'd go through some of these heroes in each tier, describe pros, cons, who I think is the best in each grouping. And also, what should you trade in? So if you're running, so we'll start with this, since we have to select them before we get the options. If you're running Hero Academy 10, where you have to trade in a hero and get a hero back, that is something where you will not get the hero that you put in. So you want to put in the heroes you don't want out. So, for instance, I have Magni costume and Horde Call costume already. I will want to put those heroes into Hero Academy 10 to make sure I don't get that hero out. So I will be putting in the ones I actually do want out of Hero Academy 10 into Soul Exchange, because I won't be putting those into HA10. So that makes sense. Like, I do want Catalan costume out, so I don't want to put that one in, because I'll never get Catalan out. I do want Sartana costume. And then I've just got a couple extra heroes of the month. Go with Zagrog. So these are the type of heroes that I would be putting in, is ones that I do want out of Hero Academy 10. Alright, let's start with the 10 heroes required tier. Last time I chose Guardian Chameleon, who was in the 10 category, and I do not regret that decision, except for I did not get enough roster space freed up. So now I'm down to 2 roster slots. Kunshin, this was, I believe, February 2019 Hero of the Month. When he came out, man, he was good. He was a healer with defense down, cleansing. It's a cleric class. He couldn't, this one I think is particularly important, couldn't resist defense ailments, or resisted defense ailments, so you couldn't defense down him. He was a huge stats on the defense and the health. Excellent tank still for rush format. In fact, probably one of the best tanks for rush format besides like Alfriki and Ludwig. And I feel like there's 1 or 2 more. Gossek now. This would be a good rush tank if you actually need a purple rush tank. He's fair on Titans because he recovers health and does defense down, but that defense down is not the best in the game anymore, negative 34%. For that reason, and he's slow, so he's a little bit hard to use in raids. But I think on defense, maybe on Titans, but probably not the best on Titans anymore. He's a fair pick. Norns is going to be pretty much exclusively a Mythic Titan hero. So when you're getting deep on your roster and you need to use those last like 3 or 4 flags in your roster for Mythic Titan, Norns is a good one to flip things up and let you use a team that you don't typically bring. So she does, at average speed, does some damage to target nearby, and then the enemy becomes weak against the element they are strong against. So for instance, if it's blue is strong against red, so they become weak against red, as well as still weak against green. So it's interesting. I have 2 of these. I do use it on Mythic Titan, and that's about the only place. She's very difficult to use in raids. I wouldn't say difficult to use. She's fair to use in raids. Just that average damage is not great. Hitting 3 wide, she's not going to hit until after the tank's out, so she typically only does it to 2. So for that reason, I kind of give her like kind of a B-ish grade. For Mythic Titans, yes, but everywhere else, kind of no. So very niche hero. Alradir, I don't think I got this one. I remember testing this in beta, though. I would not do this one. He is a wizard class, so his damage is fair. Again, not as good as Norns, 255 to target nearby. The interesting thing is he reflects DOT damage, but the way this works on offense, he basically gets 2 turns, so it doesn't kick in until after the DOT hits. You still get the damage, but then the other team gets the damage too. I don't particularly like this hero. He can't be Silence, that's somewhat interesting, but yeah, I would pass on that one. Same thing with Coggan costume. Most of the season 1 costumes, I feel like if you get them from the portal, maybe they're worth leveling, but from Hero Academy 10, if you just happen to pull them from the portal, maybe, but I would not do this over like Kunshin or Norns. Same thing with Perseus. This guy's Blast from the Past. I think he's a little underrated. I do have him, and I have him at 370. I've used him a little bit because he's fast and he does that huge elemental defense. He can be useful if the opponent has like Frigg or Evelyn and Frigg or something. Yeah, it can be useful actually, but this guy's needed a buff for a very, very long time, so I would not do that. Tier 1, vote goes to Kunshin or Norns. Tier 2, 15 heroes in. Grimble, this guy, when he came out, it was December 2019. I remember because it was a seasonal event. I did not get him. I don't have Grimble. Everyone hated him right off the bat. And then 2020, all of these minion heroes came out. So Freya, I'm not sure if Bara came out in 2020 or 2021, but like there was just a plethora of minion heroes came out, and then Grimble is amazing. And he can't be blinded. That's not super important. Cleric class. Buff of an attack, buff and critical chance, so he's maybe viable a little bit on the Titan, but definitely not a top tier choice for Titans. The real thing is he destroys all minions from all enemies. All minions are gone, and all allies get a small amount of mana for each destroyed minion. So he can like help mana up your team and charge up some slow heroes. And there's some really good purple slows. So if you give him a level 23 mana troop and he goes 9 tiles, he can help get Alfriki or Gossek or some of those other heroes going. I've seen him used in some videos with Nalfad, who's obviously a top tier hero right now. And you can basically get your heroes going every like 3 or 4 purple tiles. So it's pretty crazy. Divana is another hero of the month I missed out on, and I tried pretty hard for this one because I think she's good. Resists minion effects, resist dispels. This one can get me sometimes when I see her. I'm like trying to dispel, an attack up. Maybe she's got, maybe I need a dispel for a taunt hero, and she's next door or something, and I'm like double dispelling and she's not dispelling. It's kind of annoying, so that's particularly good. The average damage to target nearby is 255, which is okay, but that beefy Lynx minion, 35 HP and 35 attack, you put her next to like Lady of the Lake with one of these Lynx minions on top, and the Lady of the Lake minion's going to get really annoying. And maybe better than any of that, it's the small amount of mana per turn at the end of each turn. That is pretty useful, honestly, to get heroes going on attack. So she's a really good attack hero. Lady of the Lake, wow, I think a lot of people are going to want this one. She's excellent for slow. I have 2 copies now. I have her costume as well. I have it maxed. I haven't limit broken it yet. I think she's really tough to use on offense. Honestly, those minions don't survive very long, like slash hits take them down, so maybe unless you limit broke her, maybe they don't survive a slash hit, but I never find the minions doing very much on offense. On defense, I don't typically use her because in rush format I tank Alfriki almost all the time, and the synergy there is pretty poor, so Alfriki, you want them to hit their max to trigger the mindless attack. And Lady of the Lake, if they get hit by a minion, they don't do that. So then they're almost ready to go charge for the next round. So I've been using costume Lady of the Lake with Alfriki, but I think there's still better results with other heroes there. So I think she's good. She's definitely as a boss in a stage, she's really difficult because the HP is so high. But I pass. Anzog, I do have him maxed, actually. I think he's super underrated. That being said, even though he's underrated, he's not in the same category as Grimble, Divana, or Lady of the Lake. So I do use him on the red limit breaker quest where there's no status effects can be applied, and so I do something like Bold Tusk, like boost up that attack and then hit him with special skills, and he does a fair amount of damage and heals. So I do like him with Bold Tusk. Really like him in that combo with the 4 stars where it's Wilbur, Bold Tusk, Falcon, and then like Anzog, and they're all average speed. It's a good synergy. Ariel, yeah, this is another one I think a lot of people are going to want. I do have Ariel. I had her maxed from when Atlantis was, when this came out. I think I had her in the first portal she was available. 40% health for all allies, 24% mana generation, and cleanses status ailments. She's good. I think the problem is her stats got a little outdated, so without the costume bonus, she's going to be on the weaker side stat-wise. And there is a 4-star DeAndre who's basically like her in the 4-star version, so much easier to obtain limit break. His average speed, he's yellow, which is probably a better color overall since there's so many purple tanks in war. So, like, yeah, great hero 2 years ago. But I think this 15 hero input group is interesting overall. A lot of good older heroes. The other thing I want to say about Ariel is there's this Kalevala quest coming up, and there was a blue healer, I believe cleric in there, who reminded me a lot of Ariel, except she cleansed before healing and healed a little less. So for that reason, if you're planning on putting epic hero tokens into that Kalevala summon coming up soon, we don't know exactly when, I'd probably pass on Ariel. With costume, she's amazing. Without costume, I had her at plus 20 emblems, so I de-emblemed her because I didn't use her. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. It's like better options available at 4-star. Next year, 20 heroes required. Lepiota. Yeah, so getting into the new Season 4 heroes. She's fast, and she does the remove status effects and stacks from the target. Removing stacks from target is pretty interesting. We could see some heroes, and we are seeing some heroes come out where their stacks are pretty important. I'm very curious if we had a boss come up which had stacks applied to it. She'd be one of the only kind of effective counters. She basically takes a hero completely out of the game for 4 turns, an enemy out of the game for 4 turns. The damage wall in Abyss mode isn't super important, but allows you to like ghost those tiles, take an enemy out of commission, and then think about them later. Very, very interesting. I don't have her. I'm curious. I do have materials for her. I have some emblems. She's kind of on my radar. Sif, Season 3 hero. So she reduces damage by 50%, but counterattacks before that. So she counterattacks, reduces damage, and caster nearby get mana generation. So she's a pure support hero. I've seen her used effectively in some cases, but this is not a hero that I would like to bring on offense. I think it's a defensive hero, and it's not one, at average speed, probably not one that I would typically use. At our level, I think we're getting into more teams that kind of kill you fast. So fast speed, flanks, and wings, and a tank that either speeds them up or slows you down seems to be the way to win. So I don't know, if a support flank maybe, but I don't know why she's in the 20 hero tier. She seems like a better 15 or 10 hero tier. Mother North. Okay, if you don't have revive heroes, I like raiding offensively with revive. She's one of the heroes. She's one of, I think I only have 2 sets of heroes that have duplicate maxed, and that's Pengi and Mother North. And that's because I really like raiding 4-1. So Mother North or Heimdall or Alberic are my 4 revivers. I have them all maxed, and I usually use them on a 1 with 4 other heroes of the same color. And she kind of is that recover. So if you're losing the match, she can turn the tide completely. Her heal isn't amazing. I kind of wish she had a cleanse too. The minions aren't great, but if you're talking about the minions plus the heal, that should be 37% health. So that's enough to save your bacon a lot. I think everyone knows what she does. They've seen her everywhere, right? So she's fantastic for rush in the corner. Left wing revives everyone, and then they blow you away. I'm a little disappointed this isn't with costume. For 20 heroes, I definitely expected a little better, and to have that costume on there as well. So I think she's definitely, if you don't have any revive heroes, you probably need one. Choose her. If you do have taunt and don't have revive. Black Knight. Yeah, so I think this was expected. He was going to be in here, mostly because in the next portal, they'll be releasing his costume. In the Challenge Festival portal, he should have a costume. It should be 4 turns. I forget what is different about the taunt's 4 turns. I know that. I think it's still drop damage to 1 for 4 turns, but I forget what the boost is. I think it's a flat percentage attack and not this berserker effect. So, but 4 turn taunt is actually considerably different feeling than 3 turns taunt. And the hero of the month right now, Kara, has a 4 turn taunt. I unfortunately missed out on Kara, so I did 119 summons this month, and I do not have Kara still, which is incredibly disappointing. But I would love a taunt in a second color, so I don't have BK. That'd be interesting. But again, he's in the portal next month. I don't know. So, great hero. Lord Loki is fun. I don't use him a lot. I use him against probably Alfreki teams in war when it's not rush, because I can usually get him going before her. A lot of people use him in rush as well. It's really, using a very slow or slow special skill that's killer. You can copy it. It's super fun. It's really versatile. But just because it's fun, I don't think I would say that it is necessary as a skill to have. Like some of these, like Mother North or BK, are you know what they do. It's regular and reliable. He's going to be a wild card, but on offense you can control it a little bit. So, yeah, interesting. So in that category, I would say bests are Mother North and BK. 15 heroes, probably Grimble, Divana, Lady of the Lake. And at 10 heroes, most likely Norns or Kunshin. So those are my votes for Soul Exchange, everyone. Personally, I'm still deciding between Grimble, Lepiota, and Black Knight. I think those are the 3 that I would typically go with. I'm tempted to do one of these 2 only because I need the roster space. But honestly, I think Grimble is probably going to be my choice because I have to throw Divana in there too, mostly for the mana per turn. I think Grimble might be my choice because there's still a ton of minion teams out there in war. And that would, even though if it's dark, I'd feel more confident going against a Freya or Bara. Especially Bara, if I could just take her minions away and not do a ton of damage, but then charge up my heroes. So this would allow me to use my slow and very slow purples, I think. So for that reason, I'm probably going to go Grimble, because I don't have Snalfod. But everyone choose what's best for your team and your roster, and good luck and have fun. Happy Memorial Day.